Yeah, we're excited to get the season started here this next Wednesday, opening up at Kansas State. After what's been kind of a long summer and fall, our guys are excited to get back out on the playing floor and get a chance to compete against somebody else. Really looking forward to this group can do. I really like the makeup of our group. I like the way they've prepared heading into this season opener, and we're ready to go, ready to get it started and play some basketball.
You got a starting five yet? I know coaches like to wait as long as possible sometimes before the season starts, but how's your rotation and your top guys looking?
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to having a starting five. We're letting everybody compete it out here going into this last week. But again, like the group, I think our depth is going to be a big asset to us all year long. So I feel really good about putting in multiple different lineups throughout the game, and feel very very comfortable with the way those would look out on the floor.
Who can you say for sure is starting at this point?
Well, I think there's a few obvious ones, from previous years that that Roman Penn and DJ Wilkins, Tremel Murphy as well. All three of those guys have really done a great job for us, and the other two positions we think we're pretty close. Just letting everybody kind of compete here this last week before we started with our season opener, but. And like I've told the team, it could be one of those years where we're going to have multiple starting lineups just because of all the different variables that may come into play this year, and throughout the year, just kind of mixing and matching some certain lineups and seeing which ones we like best.
Darian, what do you do to replace the loss of your big from last year?
Yeah, I think we got a nice mix of bigs. We have Darnell Brody, a transfer from Seton Hall, Nate Ferguson, who was a redshirt freshman last year, and Issa Samaka, who was a redshirt freshman last year. I think all three of them have done a nice job this summer and fall, and they all bring different things to the team. So I could see us playing all three of them on any given night, and it'll be kind of just a feeling out process of how guys do when the game lights are on, and how they respond to that to kind of determine ultimately how their playing time kind of sorts itself out throughout the year.
What kind of challenges came with creating your non-conference schedule with COVID and everything?
Yeah, like everybody else, we basically started over, and with travel being kind of a big priority in that, a lot of bus trips for games that we're playing and for our teams that are coming here as well. So, we just started from scratch, and we'll figure it out as we go. Is going to be my guess. So, whatever you see on your kitchen refrigerator door may not stay solid for the whole season. I can guarantee you that.
Ask another one time. I wanted to know, are you guys practicing in masks, or was there any thought? The video is still you were not. Was there any thought to doing that? And I guess how did that sort of play out?
Yeah, we do kind of a mix of stuff in mask, and then a mix of stuff where we don't have masks. Us coaches always have masks and shields on as an extra layer of protection from us as a coaching staff. Obviously, with our guys being tested 3 days a week, there's some advantages there. But our guys have done a really good job to this point, and feel very good about the precautions they've taken, and the protocols they've had to follow to get us here. And fingers crossed that can continue to happen. So that's kind of the approach we've taken throughout the year, and we've had success with it to this point.
Part of the whole, marketing and place for this team is, your hometown team. You're trying to get fans to come. You've really done a good job of that in recent years, getting the nap packed, and the news coming in that no fans. Just what's your reaction to be playing in that environment?
Yeah, I think we're all just want to play basketball, and whatever that means right now to get the chance to do it, we're excited to do it. And if it's minimal fans with just family here to start, and if it can evolve into more as the year grows, that would be great. Right now our priority is we just want to play, and whatever we got to do to get that chance to go out and do it, we're willing to do that. So obviously we'd love to have our fans here. As you've mentioned, we love the growth and the fan base, and how it's starting to take hold in Des Moines, and we're excited about the progress we've made and the direction it's going. And hopefully that'll continue once we get the opportunity to get some fans back in the building again.
Hey, Coach, for you personally, does year 3 kind of feel any different for you? Year 1, it was the debut season, things went really well. Kind of year 2, you want to prove that it wasn't a fluke. Now year 3, you're pretty entrenched in this program. You've got your guys, you've got your system in place. Does it feel different at all for you?
Well, I do think we've kind of got some things established that, in year 1 and year 2 and now in year 3 that you're just getting more comfortable with the day-to-day routines of what your expectations are within your program. Obviously, COVID threw a little bit of a wrench in some of our, the way we go about things on a day-to-day basis. But overall, the mindset and the way we approach things, I really like. I like the direction the team has been able to take some things, and they're leading it now from within the locker room. And that makes it much easier as a coach and coaching staff to continue to move forward and progress and take this program where we want to have it go.
What are you seeing from newcomers and maybe what type of role they'll have, especially Tank Hemphill?
Yeah, speaking specifically on Tank, I think he's had a really good, summer and fall adjusting to our, the way we do things, some of the terminology and stuff. So I like what he brings. He's obviously got a lot of experience as well. I think he'll give us kind of that guy that can do multiple things, play multiple positions throughout the year. I think he's a really dynamic player. I think fans, whether they're in person or watching, virtually, I think they're going to really enjoy seeing him play and what he can do. So Darnell Brody as well, a transfer from Seton Hall. I think he's come in and done a nice job, kind of doing some things on the interior. He gives us a really big body that we haven't had that type of size, since we've been here. He's almost 285 pounds. So I think he can give us a real physical presence in there as well. And both of our freshmen have done a good job. I think they're really coming along, and as the season goes, hopefully they can have an impact on our team this year as well.
Darian, you guys were picked to finish bottom half of the league this year. Do you mind the underdog role, though?
No, not at all. I think the preseason polls are what they are, and our job is to finish somewhere other than where you're predicted a lot of times. So, I know our guys don't feel like we're that type of team, but none of that matters. You have to go out and prove it, and that's what we want to have. Is we want to have a little edge to us, a little chip on our shoulder in how we play anyway. So this just adds a little bit, fuel to the fire for our guys, and I know that they're anxious to go out and prove that they can play, and our goal is to finish higher than that. Obviously, we have higher expectations for this program, and I have no doubt this group is capable of getting there.
We know how tough the MVC is, but just another question on the non-conference. You get South Dakota on there twice as of now. You open at Kansas State. What do those games give you the opportunity to do early in the season?
Yeah, I really like our opener with Kansas State. I think when we had to switch out of our MTE and play somewhere closer, and I think the opportunity to play a Big 12 game right out of the gates, it's made it really easier for our guys to stay focused, because it's been a long fall, with the season being pushed back and having multiple practices that normally we'd be playing games by now. So I think it's helped our guys stay a little more focused, really engaged into getting ready for this opener. And then having South Dakota, a really good team out of the Summit League, very similar to our league. So I think we're going to get two really good games to start open the season. And then, from there on out, I think we'll see how it all shakes out, because, games are changing every day. So, but I do like the schedule. I think the fact that we've been able to fill it has been a huge accomplishment. Now, hopefully, we can just go play those games.
Big recruit. What was that like? One, having him commit to Drake, and then two, what was it like being on the other side of the recruiting process, being a dad, trying to navigate all that?
Yeah, obviously we're really excited as a program to add Tucker, to what we're doing, and from a dad's perspective, the opportunity to coach your son, I couldn't think of a better scenario from my standpoint to be able to enjoy that process with him over the next 4 years. And so we're excited about that from both a coaching standpoint and also from a dad standpoint. The recruiting process, I've been doing it for 23 years, and it was certainly different, being on the other side, which has been a good thing. I think it's been helpful, for me as a coach to really truly understand how parents feel from the inside and what they're going through as the recruiting process plays out. Because, I felt that he had a lot of really good options, a lot of people I truly respect that he could have chosen. So, hearing from them and what they do and how they go about it has been really helpful for me on both sides of it. So, but at the end of the day, certainly glad he chose Drake, and we'll get the opportunity to go compete together.
Darren, circling back to this year, filling Liam's role, obviously those are some pretty big shoes. No pun intended there to fill, but where does that kind of come from? Where does it start?
Yeah, I think starting with our three bigs, the combination of all three of them, I really like what we have there. I think we're going to get a really good 40 minutes out of that position with those guys. We also have some other lineups where we can go small that we've tinkered with as well. So I think it's going to give us the opportunity to play a little faster this year, and that's what we're really hoping to get back to is. There are times where we had to slow down a little bit last year, and this year we put a lot of emphasis this summer and fall on making sure we get back to playing fast and being aggressive and trying to get in the open floor. So excited to see, that combination of those guys, what they can do with that position.
Liam's skill set was obviously very unique, but I think one of maybe the most difficult thing to replace the shot blocking ability. It seems like that's kind of one of those things that you just have to have it or you don't. Do you feel like some of your bigs kind of have that ability to maybe change a game in that way?
Yeah, we certainly have some guys that can block shots. I think a little bit it would be a little more team defense oriented. We may not block quite as many, so we got to do a better job of just keeping people out of the paint. And some different ways that you can do that defensively. I think we'll try to take advantage of it. But again, the combination of what those guys' strengths are will be different, but I also like what they bring to the table as well.
Mel had an unusual and emotional year last year, but got the extra year of eligibility. Where is his head at kind of entering his final year, especially considering how last year went for him?
Yeah, I think he's really excited to get back out on the flame floor. I know he's recovered from his injury pretty well. He's gotten back in great shape. I know he's excited to go show what he can do and be out there playing again. And so he's been great. I'm really excited for him. And he's put in a lot of time and effort to get back to this point. And I look for him to have a big year for us.
Hey, Darren, along the lines of Travell, how close is he to being the type of player he was his junior year before this injury?
Yeah, I think he's pretty close. He's maybe lost just a little bit of his explosion, but I think he's probably 85% there from where he was before the surgery. I think he's put in a lot of time on some of the skill components of the game that I think have really expanded what he could do for us on the offensive end. So I think you're going to see somebody that's going to really impact the game for us, and obviously excited to have him back. And again, one of those guys that, as a junior, he averaged 11 and 6 basically, and I think he's more than capable of doing that again for us this year, and I think he could even do more.
And Roman Penn, a great year last year. What can we see different out of him this season?
Yeah, our whole challenge to him in this offseason is just to be more aggressive as a scorer. He's so unselfish and such a good passer that sometimes he relies on it too much. And I think he's done a good job of that, of taking on that role and being more assertive as a scorer, which I think helps everybody. It helps him set guys up better because they have to worry about him, being more aggressive, getting to the rim, getting to the mid-range, pulling up from three. He's put a lot of time into it as well. So I'm excited to see kind of all that hard work, paying off for him out on the game floor.
Yeah, then back to Tucker. You watched Greg McDermott coach his son Doug. Did you reach out to other coaches like Fran McCaffrey, other people, to get their impressions on coaching a son?
I spent a lot of time talking to Coach McDermott, or seeing how Coach McDermott and Doug did it while I was there. So I had a pretty good idea of what that dynamic is like. And I've talked to Fran along the way about different things, but we didn't spend a lot of time on the how it would be if he decided to come here, because we were working so hard on just letting him play that process out, and him decided where he wanted to go first. So now that he's here, we'll continue to, or will be here in a year, we'll continue to work on that side of it. I'm sure there will be days where I'll need some advice on how to handle some certain situations, but overall, I think it really comes down to kind of your relationship, and as long as it's a good one and everything's in the right place, I'm sure it will go great.
Coach, another coronavirus question for you. With everything surging right now, I was just curious to know. I'm not sure how many times a week are you guys testing, out of curiosity, and then the follow-up to that is, what is your current understanding if a player does test positive? Like, what would how would that work? Would the whole team have to miss a game because of contact tracing, or would you guys be able to play without that one player?
Yeah, we're testing 3 times a week heading into the season here, so that'll be consistent throughout the year as it stands right now today. In terms of if there is a positive test, there will be contact tracing, and that will determine how many guys would have to sit based on what that brings out. And obviously that's why we take all the protocols we do, is to try to make sure every day we're limiting exposures within the team and taking every precaution we can.
Is it kind of nerve-wracking each day you get those reports on who's positive, or who's, like, when you get those results? I mean, you see all the games getting canceled in college football. It seems like more and more with basketball season starting up. How much of a point of concern is that?
It's something that we just do everything we can from our end, and if it is out there and it's everywhere, and obviously it's very contagious, and it does spread. So we do our part to take every precaution we can, and if someone were to test positive, we would just have to deal with it at that time, and that's all we can do, and that's that's what it is. That's what it is for everybody out there right now. So we're just trying to stay as healthy and safe as possible, and then we'll deal with things as they come at us.
Hey, Darian, I understand the Valley gave you a device to help with contact tracing. How does that work?
Well, we haven't started using it yet, so I won't be really an expert on saying how it works. But basically, the device, you wear it. We kind of wear it around our chest like a little belt, and it'll tell us basically the data on how close each guy was to each guy while they have that on. So from when they enter, the time they put it on to when they take it off, throughout practice and things, it would tell us whether they were under the 15 minutes of being within the 6 feet of each other. So it's just another way for us to take precautions, another way for us to go back and see, from a protocol standpoint and quarantining standpoint of who was around who, and that way we can make decisions from there.
You could use that to implement in some of your defensive drills, can't you?
Yeah, there's some days I'm not sure we come within 6 feet of each other the whole practice. So that'd be a great way for us to kind of incorporate some of those drills in our defense, is how close everybody was on each particular possession.